Governor McCrory, the days of that anti-transgender law that you passed are numbered. The courts have come down in a ruling against that particular bill, and you are going to be hard pressed both legally and economically to keep that bill in place.
A transgender student in Virginia who was born female but identifies as male has won a federal lawsuit to use the boys' restroom at his high school. The federal appeals court that issued the ruling covers 5 states, including Virginia and North Carolina. It could be a big boost for opponents of North Carolina's so-called bathroom law affecting transgender people. The Virginia case predates North Carolina's new law and hinged on Title IX, the federal law that prohibits gender discrimination in schools. North Carolina's governor said the ruling was disappointing.
I think that's bad precedent, and I don't think it's traditional way we do things. The way I think we should have done them is allow the high schools to make the appropriate arrangements for those students who have unique circumstances. But this is the federal government, very similar to the Charlotte government, forcing something, brand new standards that we've never seen before.
Now, I don't understand how he can fix his mouth to say that when he just did what he said shouldn't be done. He just created a law discriminating against the transgender people. If he had kept his mouth shut and kept his pen in his pocket, this whole thing would have died, because nobody was jumping up and down in Charlotte. As a matter of fact, they passed it in Charlotte. That didn't mean that they had to do anything else anywhere else. But this asshole gets up on his high horse with a Republican legislature and decides not only do they want to invalidate the Charlotte laws, but they want to prevent anybody from creating pro-transgender laws as far as discrimination is concerned. Another case of a Republican talking out of both sides of his face. And you can actually see his lips moving.
Gavin Grimm is the 11th grader who sued to use the boys' restroom at his high school. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining me.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Gavin, are you feeling victorious this morning?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about how everything's happened.
So tell me about this fight, because you've been at it a long time. How's it been for you?
Well, I mean, of course it's been very hard. It's been very, exhausting at times and difficult as well. But I definitely think that the end has justified the means in this case, and it's very much been worth it.
So are you now allowed to use the boys' restroom?
We haven't really talked about the specifics with where that's concerned. So right now I'm not sure how that's being settled. But I haven't been back to school since the ruling anyway.
I was just going to ask you, how have other students reacted to all of this?
Well, I don't know. I've gotten a lot of support from my friends, supporting messages, but I haven't been in school, like I said, so I'm not sure.
When you listen to North Carolina's governor say that it should be left up to individual high schools to work out, how the restroom should be used, what goes through your mind?
Well, I respect that he has an opinion, and, that's fine by me, and I can't really, I guess speak to what his stance on it is, but I can't say that, the federal court ruled in a different way than what he thinks is preferable, and that's fine.
What do you think everyone is so afraid of?
I'm not sure, because when you consider certain, I guess arguments or what have you, it doesn't really stand up to scrutiny. But I think a lot of it is just misinformation, and people haven't had a chance to really deal with transgender people in any meaningful way.
Well, I think that some of the fear comes from that, I guess you'll go into the boys' restroom and do something. It's just, I don't know. I'll ask you again, what is it they fear? You'll go in there and do something wrong, or look at someone in a way you shouldn't, or what?
All right, I'm going to stop this here. Carol Costello is terrible. She's terrible. But anyway, back to the main subject matter. With the appeals court, appellate court, the federal appellate court ruling in favor of this transgender student, and that ruling covering North Carolina, there's going to be some serious problems for Governor McCrory and his legislature, because as soon as one person basically files a lawsuit in order to basically get that law overturned, they're going to have to bounce that puppy all the way through into the Supreme Court. And if it bounces to the Supreme Court in its current format of 4-4 or 8 people, the lower court, or the ruling that this court basically just issued, I believe will stand. Now, I'm not sure if this ruling would have to go to the Court of Appeals, and if it did, it's probably the D.C. district where Merrick Garland is. So this may have some interesting ramifications.